Howdy everyone, WarSarcy here, and today I figured that we'd take a look at the Nintendo eShop on the Wii U, since in just under 2 weeks it's going to be shut down. At the time of this video, I believe it's 11, only 11 days until it gets shut down, but I figured this would be a perfect excuse to take a look a bit at some of the stuff that's in the eShop, some of the more recently released games, because believe it or not, even though this is a dead, no longer supported system, some reason every now and then some developers keep releasing games for it. So I figured we'd take a look at some of those, talk a little bit about some of the games that we see, and also take a look at some of the sales maybe, just cause why not, since this will be one of the last times that we actually get to take a look at any of it. So without further ado, we'll take a look into the news section. This is something that these are some of the things I actually noticed recently. I believe there's Silverfall games that were on the 3DS that also came out after the 3DS was discontinued, but if it's what I'm thinking of, they were third-person shooter, I believe, but it might have got ported to the Switch. I'm not sure, but this one, I'm not sure what it is because it's kind of conflicting art styles. This one, it's between pixel and something tells me that it might be a point and click or it might be a top-down. But the one that I'm more curious about is this one. It's $26, and I believe it's not a pixel one. This is the one that I'm actually genuinely confused as to what it is. If it's just a point and click, or if you can actually move around. Because I'd say for a point and click game, especially a game like this quality, because I know it's probably an indie developer, but even so, $26 for a game especially for a game that's only at this point going to have been on the market for like a month and a half before it's no longer purchasable, is just a bit high. And one thing I'd like to mention about all these games is, of course, after the eShop shuts down, of course, this isn't the end for the most of the stuff that you can find on the eShop, because there are other ways to download these games, obviously. And since it's going to be no longer attainable any other way in just a couple of weeks, I might as well just come out and say it. Through Wii U USB helper, you can basically get most of what's on the eShop. I say most because, unfortunately, I've checked, and there's games like especially the most recent ones like these, they're not on there. I've looked online, I have not been able to find them, so it does look like, unfortunately, like especially these last set of games here, unless you buy them in the next 2 weeks, they're probably going to become lost media. At least the Wii U versions. I don't know if they have any other versions like on Switch or not. I know this one does. This is a real one that I was really interested in because it was marketed as the last game released on Wii U until others started releasing their stuff on the Wii U. But basically, games like these last few sets here are, unless somebody's already bought them and eventually later down the line decides to upload them online, they're basically going to become lost media, unfortunately. Which really sucks, because, I mean, even with the worst games, I hate the thought of something that had effort of any kind at all put into it just disappearing off the face of the earth. And that's why I'm such a fan of looking into lost media, because it's nice a lot of times. Stuff like that was lost will end up getting found, and of course I like preserving, especially in gaming, just betas, prototypes, and even full games that were never actually released. But anyways, yeah, 2023, of course, there was only a few games on the Wii U that some people seemed to release. I definitely hope nobody in the next 11 days gets the idea to try to release their game, because nobody is going to buy it and it's just not going to be profitable. But 2022 did see a few games. Of course, as you go further and further back in the years, there'll be more and more frequently that you'll see some games released, because as years go by, eventually, even shovelware publishers are just going to realize that even if they only are expending like not even $1,000 or not even like $100 on making these games, that even that's not going to be profitable releasing on the frickin' Wii U of all things. Even if the eShop servers were getting shut down. Because, I mean, nobody's going to buy it. I mean, now, maybe in these next 11 days, since everybody who's bought a Wii U is going to go back and just take a look through it and maybe try to get some last purchases, maybe they'll buy it just for the heck of it, so there's at least that. But otherwise, in normal circumstances, people definitely... Ooh, that's nice. Off topic, but yeah, I just realized this is just a game that I just reviewed on the Xbox. I knew it was a Wii U game. I didn't know it was that recent of a Wii U game. I thought this game came out on the Wii U before it was done being supported by Nintendo, and like when the Switch came out and all that. But that one's, yeah, on the Wii U. I don't know if the servers are gonna be still supported for this, but for a buck, I'd say I don't think I've seen this one backed up. So, I mean, for a buck, that's actually a pretty decent game to have. I might just think about grabbing it here sometime before the servers shut down. It's also a good game to have on the current system, like the Xbox. But horror stories. I think this is definitely one of the games that is possibly on Nintendo Switch, but I might be wrong. This could just be one that was also released on the Wii U and 3DS, because that's one thing that I noticed about a lot of these games, especially the ones that are more shovelware and all that. They release both simultaneously, or at least close together, on the Wii U and the 3DS, but they don't make it to the Switch. And that's one thing I'm not entirely sure why, because I mean, it's not like the Switch doesn't have shovelware, because trust me, that's been a problem ever since the Switch came out, of having freaking shovelware. But yeah, all the way down here, these stuff like this, 2018, and even maybe to a degree 2019, are stuff that you'll definitely still be able to find online once the servers get shut down. But everything newer, if you want it and you decide not to buy it, it's your risk, basically, on whether you decide to get it now or wait later and maybe assume that it'll be available online and risk it not being available online. You know what, let's take a look at the Virtual Console. I've never really been too much for Virtual Console, just because I've been able to emulate stuff, but when it comes to having a way of playing older games on current Nintendo platforms, I would definitely take Virtual Console over Nintendo Switch Online. I just wish they'd bring it back. Yeah, there's some the Wii U did end up getting some Virtual Console games released on it after the Switch already came out, but it seems that did not last long at all before older companies like even Konami just decided to finally just move on to the Nintendo Switch. Let's take a look at some games on sale. Oh, that's actually a pretty damn good price. I mean, mind you, of course, like I said, you can already, especially these Wii titles, you can. The Wii is one of the easiest consoles to hack, maybe only beat by the PSP. But yeah, if you're rocking just a stock Wii U and some reason you don't, oh, that's pretty good. And some reason you don't want to upgrade or hack it, even though it's so easy to do and the benefits are just endless. There's some pretty good sales going on here, it seems like it. So if there's any last minute pickups you want to do, now would definitely be the time to do that. Let's see, what else? We're starting to get down to where some of the shovelware and some of the stuff like these kind of things I believe that are on the Nintendo Switch. Yeah, stuff like that. It's definitely available on the Switch, and it's like you're not gonna miss out if you decide not to get that game. Actually, yeah, that's the one I think about. That is definition of shovelware. That game really. You know what? Let's just take a look at it real quick. You might as well, because I believe I still have that installed, and it is not really that good of a game, just to say the least. Yeah. The controls, I believe, are just really crap. It just felt very poorly put together. But anyways, that's pretty much it. What's on sale? So let's see if there's anything else we want to take a look at. Because I mean, there's probably not going to be anything that changes after this point, after this video, besides maybe games that are on sale will switch out, because like I said, it's very doubtful that there's going to be any games released on here in the next 2 weeks, because that would just be financial suicide. Even if it was as a joke, it'd be like, what would be the point in doing that? You know what? eShop exclusives. That's a good idea. Digital only titles. Let's see. Of course, we got a lot of very basic games. Nothing that I'm really seeing that. Oh, that one's a decent one. That one is too. But that one, Fatal Frame, Maiden of Black Water, is available on all current gen systems, I believe. I think it's on the Nintendo Switch too, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure it is. It's on Xbox and PlayStation as well. There's another good one that's also backed up online. I believe that's also on the 3DS as well. Yeah, a lot of these ones I don't even. These ones are kind of bizarre. That I think they'll still function, but I'm not 100% sure. Trine 2, that I believe already. I think there's 4 Trine games, and I think there's already a quad pack that you can get physically on the PS4. So a lot of these games that are on the eShop, they're not really at risk of going anywhere. I mean, yeah, the eShop's going to shut down, so of course the digital only ones, you're going to have to rely on getting them through questionable methods like the Wii U USB helper. But there's not too much. There's most of the stuff on here is either on the Wii U USB helper and or on newer platforms, and everything else, like the few games that I just mentioned, it could go either way. They could be backed up. They could just they could end up going missing. But most of the digital stuff on the Wii U, anyways, is just shovelware. I mean, there are a few gems here and there, but it's like the Wii U just had a horrible. The we Nintendo platforms in general just had awful problems with shovelware, but especially like the Wii U. As soon as it lost third-party support, it's like if a game came out that wasn't by Nintendo or wasn't one of those few third parties that will always support Nintendo, like Lego and all that, then it was almost certainly shovelware. Yeah, that just brings us right back down to these. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's too much else yet. Here's some of the notifications. I don't think there's too much else to take a look at on here. There's, I mean, yeah, it's always even when you can get all of this stuff, even when you can get all of this stuff. Oh, here's another thing. There's another thing that I miss from the freaking Nintendo Switch is being able to actually review crap. There shouldn't be any console that lacks reviews because that's the only way you're going to actually get honest, genuine opinions about a game and know without having to go online whether or not it's actually worth playing. But yeah, as I was saying, even with older consoles, when their storefronts get shut down, even though that you can pretty much have alternate methods of installing games onto them, and most of the time, even though it's like super easy to do it, it always sucks not being able to just have the console in hand and just simply from the console itself just go and see what was on sale. Because I mean, like with the original Xbox, I mean, I never actually got a chance to connect it online before the Xbox Live 1.0 shut down, but I did have that Xbox Live Arcade disc, and it did have, even offline, it showed some things that were able to be bought. And it's always nice just to see what was released, take a look through screenshots, and just see all the stuff that was put out on it, both good and bad, digital as well as physical, and just even if you're not in the mood to buy anything, it can just also help you figure out what you're in the mood for. And it always sucks when it finally gets shut down, which really sucks because especially with the Wii, I got the Wii U much later. Into like by the time I got it, the Switch was already out, but I at least got it I got it early enough to where I was still able to experience stuff like Miiverse before it got shut down and stuff like that. Small things like that. It's nice to take a look at because I actually enjoyed going through Miiverse and just seeing what people were talking about. Mind you, the only category, at least before the last day where people were going absolutely crazy, the only category where you could actually talk about whatever you want, be off topic without being guaranteed to have all your comments removed by their moderators, was the YouTube app, and that's where people would just talk about whatever they felt like. And I ended up doing that for a while. For a while, I actually pretty much I stopped really going on social media, and the only social media sort of thing that I really got was Miiverse. And it was a nice little sort of community. I mean, yeah, there were definitely some weird stuff on there. I mean, you've probably seen it, but it was a unique thing that it sucked that it got shut down. Yeah, oh god, there's that. That's definitely backed up, but I like playing the vanilla version of that every now and then. Yeah, there's a few things on here, especially that have been ported already to Switch or to PC or other platforms. I also found it funny how Even the frickin' sports games only got one entry on the Wii U before the like EA and 2K and all of them just bailed on this. It's like they knew it wasn't going to work out from the start. Whereas even the frickin' Xbox 360 and PS3 got sports games for a lot longer than the Wii U did. I mean, hell, even when the Switch came out, the Xbox 360 and PS3 got like at least one or two more sports games, like FIFA and NBA. Yeah, there's pretty much not too much more to look at, and I'm not really going to drag this video on, even though I don't even know how long this video is at this point, but I just wanted to make this video as a sort of thing for anybody who was curious to take one last look at the Wii U eShop, but might not have gotten their chance or might miss out on it maybe in the future, past when the eShop has already been shut down and the servers are all down and all that, and you just want to take one last look, that people could at least come back to this video and many other videos like this, because I know that I'm not going to be the only one doing this, and I'm not going to be the best in doing this, but I wanted to at least throw my 2 cents in. I guess that's the best phrase I can come up with, and take my own sort of look at it and give my own sort of thoughts on this, because I've done this with a bunch of other platforms like the Wii Shop channel, the DSi. I didn't actually look at the DSi, but I'm pretty sure I talked about it in the Miiverse. So I always like to at least make some sort of video talking about and showing off these services one last time before they shut down. So if you made it this far into the video, thank you so much for bearing with me and sitting through my blabbering and showing off stuff like this. I had a really good time doing this. It's nice to be able to just take one last look, and I guess at this point, this is WarsRC on the Game Clips channel, and I will see you next time.